edition of the Dan O'Donnell Show. Illegality in the effort to recall Assembly Speaker Robin Vos. We will get to that shortly. First, the AdventNews.com talk and text line, 414-799-1130. The toll-free talk and text line, 1-800-838-9476. You can email me directly, DOD@iHeartMedia.com, at Dan O'Donnell Show on X, where you can watch the show streaming live via the Dano Cam. Also, Facebook.com/Dan O'Donnell Show, where we are also streaming live. And, of course, on our YouTube channel, YouTube.com/Dan O'Donnell Show. The group Recall Vos was formed in January in an effort to recall Assembly Speaker Robin Vos. This follows a failed effort to primary Vos by candidate Adam Steen in August of 2022. The group had promised that if Vos doesn't remove Megan Wolf, the Wisconsin Election Commission administrator, from office, he would be removed from office. The resulting effort, a recall movement against him. However, from the time that the group started collecting signatures until today, and signatures must be collected by Monday, which is the 60-day deadline for petition circulators to collect signatures, there's been a massive shift in the state's electoral map. Governor Evers, you might recall, signed into law electoral maps, legislative electoral maps that all 99 members of the Wisconsin Assembly serve under. Each one represents a different district. After a lengthy legal battle, the Wisconsin Supreme Court in December struck down the legislature's maps. The Republican-drawn legislature had drawn these maps because Governor Evers' maps were rejected by the United States Supreme Court in March of 2022 as being unconstitutional racial gerrymanders. The Wisconsin Supreme Court struck down the legislature's maps. Faced with no other choice, the legislature signed on to Governor Evers' rejiggered maps to make sure that they weren't unconstitutionally gerrymandering by race, in an effort to stave off even more gerrymandered maps by the liberal Supreme Court. This happened just a couple of weeks ago, while recall petition circulators were still in the field, which creates a rather bizarre circumstance in which they're attempting to recall Speaker Vos from an assembly district that no longer exists. The assembly districts will change once the new elections are conducted this November, first the primaries in August, and then when the new assembly and the new Senate are seated next January, those districts will be fully in effect with new representatives for each one of the 99 assembly districts and 33 state Senate districts. Multiple law enforcement sources have told me that the Recall Vos group has been using illegal petition circulators. Wisconsin Statute 8.40 clearly specifies that all recall petition circulators have to be American citizens. Now, you might recall about a month ago, maybe 3 weeks ago, during the spring primary, we reported on, I believe it was the Mark Belling late afternoon show. I was filling in on WISN. And I reported that the City of Burlington Police Department was getting calls regarding petition circulators showing up within 100 feet of polling places and conducting electioneering activities. But this created a unique circumstance because they were collecting signatures to recall Vos. Burlington had a couple of huge school referenda on the spring primary ballot, both of which went down to defeat. But because there were so many people, so many politically engaged people, who came out to vote in February, the recall petition circulators were out in force at all of the polling places, or at least as many polling places as they could get to. They were stopping people with giant trucks that said recall Voss on the flatbed, and they hopped out of the trucks, and as soon as people would either come out of the polling place or on their way in, they would shove a clipboard in their face and say, "Hey, do you want to recall Robin Voss?" This created a very unique situation because electioneering, doing any sort of political activity outside of a polling place within 100 feet of an entrance to a polling place is illegal. But what happens if the electioneering is done for a completely different election? It didn't matter, though, as a number of people were so put off by the recall petition circulators that they called Burlington police. When officers arrived at multiple different locations, they noticed that the recall petition circulators did not appear to be American citizens. Upon a little bit of investigation, they learned that a number of them were from Mexico and Honduras. This is in direct violation of Wisconsin Statute 8.402. Moreover, if it was known that these are not American citizens who were circulating recall petitions, the Recall Voss movement could potentially have violated the election Wisconsin 12.13. That is a criminal violation of the Wisconsin statute. In fact, this is the statute that's titled election fraud. Rather ironically, the people behind the Recall Voss movement are furious at Voss because they believe that, A, Voss didn't support former President Donald Trump loudly enough, vociferously enough. The recall's organizer, a man by the name of Matthew Snorek, cited this as one of his reasons for launching this recall, but the other reason was far more substantive, and that was the perceived inability or unwillingness of Robin Voss to get to the bottom of all the alleged voter fraud that went on in the 2020 presidential election. In a huge bit of irony here, it does appear that the Recall Voss movement has, in fact, knowingly engaged in election fraud. I called Recall Voss this morning, and I did not yet get an answer to any of my questions. I didn't get a call back regarding this, but it should be noted that on the front page of the recallvoss.com website, it does note a few contribution rules if you want to support the Recall Voss movement. 1, I am at least 18 years old. 2, this contribution is made from my own funds. 3, I am making this contribution with my own personal credit card and not with a corporate or business card. And 4, I am a U.S. citizen or lawfully admitted permanent resident. The Recall Voss movement also appears to have been violating its own first rule in attempting to get recall signatures for Voss amongst people who are not yet 18 years old. Multiple reports also surfaced that Recall Voss organizers, petition circulators, were showing up at Burlington High School and, as I understand it, several other high schools in the Burlington area and shoving their recall signature petition clipboards in the faces of high school students, without ever verifying whether or not those students are 18 years old. Once again, this is a violation. If this was done knowingly collecting signatures from people who are under 18 years old, is in fact a violation of Wisconsin's election fraud statute. Multiple law enforcement sources have told me that the Burlington Police Department has had multiple contacts with recall petition circulators and has had numerous problems and numerous complaints about the behavior of these recall circulators. The Recall Voss movement does feature a number of the same people who were involved in the primary campaign of Adam Steen to try to unseat Voss in the summer of 2022. Just a couple of weeks ago, the Wisconsin Ethics Commission referred criminal charges, or at least recommended criminal charges, to the Racine County District Attorney's Office for an illegal scheme to try to get around campaign donation limits. It amounted to money laundering. What Steen and his supporters were instructing their contributors to do, because Wisconsin law prohibits giving more than $1,000 per candidate for state office per election cycle, but does allow unlimited contributions to state or county parties, they were instructing their donors to simply give as much money as they wanted to the Langlade County Republican Party. Langlade County is nowhere near the assembly district where Steen was challenging Voss. Langlade County and its chairman agreed to accept these donations and instructed all of the donors to write 63 on the checks so that they could be earmarked for immediate donation back to Adam Steen. Wisconsin law also allows for county and the state parties to donate unlimited amounts of money to the candidates of their choice. This amounted to money laundering. Also caught up in this effort is State Representative Janelle Brandtjen. In addition to Steen, members of Steen's campaign, the Wisconsin Ethics Commission issued a blistering report on this activity and is recommending criminal charges. Is it possible that the Recall Voss movement, which is the latest effort to get Assembly Speaker Voss out of office, is engaging in very similar illegal, unethical activities? According to the Burlington Police Department, this is, in fact, exactly what has happened. We will have more on this exclusive developing story when we come back here on the Dan O'Donnell Show.
Conservative thought, not just talk.
You're listening to the Dan O'Donnell Show.
Hey, Dan O'Donnell here for the Lynch family of dealerships. I've been a big proponent of Lynch for a while now. Here's why. They're literally a family dealership and have been since 1957. That's increasingly rare in the dealership world today, but the Lynch family employs 500 plus people who are all dedicated to taking care of you. They've got a wide selection of new and used vehicles, extended service department hours for early drop-offs and late pickups, and most importantly, they're proud supporters of our local communities and schools. They also stand behind what they sell with Lynch certified used vehicles, including a 168-point inspection to determine eligibility, an unparalleled 90-day or 3,000-mile certified guarantee, and a 10-day 500-mile exchange policy. And when you pair this with the Lynch Protected program, they cover your paint, your windshield, and your tires. It's easy to see why you should consider Lynch. Check them out today at shoplynch.com.
Teeth are amazing. That's why at Affordable Dentures and Implants, we believe it's time the world sees your smile. With new financing options, you don't need to wait to get your smile back. Our practices in Milwaukee, Kenosha, and Menominee Falls are open to serve you. Schedule a free new smile consultation. Call 1-800-DENTURE or visit AffordableDentures.com to find a location near you. That's 1-800-DENTURE or visit AffordableDentures.com. Affordable Dentures and Implants.
Go ahead and smile.
Dan O'Donnell here for CertaPro Painters. If you're like me, you're still spending a lot of time at home. My home is my happy place, and that's why I trusted the pros at CertaPro to paint it the way I wanted. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated right here in the state. Schedule your free estimate online at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C, pro.com. When choosing a painting professional, the choice is simple. Choose happy. Choose CertaPro Painters.
Attorney Joe Cordell.
Business owners and professionals face special challenges in divorce court. In addition to everything else going on, they have to contend with allegations that they are earning more than they are, coupled with claims on their business or practice itself. Clients with assets depend on their divorce lawyer's skills in these matters, and that's why it's so important to hire someone that has those skills.
Schedule an appointment with one of Cordell & Cordell's Milwaukee attorneys. 111 East Kilbourne Avenue, Suite 1650, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, 53202.
Over $6 billion in tax refunds were flagged by the IRS for possible identity theft in 2023. If you're in a bind this tax season, LifeLock can help. Their U.S.-based restoration specialists are dedicated to helping solve identity theft issues, and all plans are backed by the $1 Million Protection Package, which means if you lose money because of identity theft, LifeLock will reimburse you to the limits of your plan. Go to LifeLock.com and save up to 25% your first year with promo code CLAY.
Exclusive story here on the Dan O'Donnell Show surrounding the effort to recall Assembly Speaker Robin Vos. Multiple law enforcement sources tell the Dan O'Donnell Show that the group Recall Vos has been illegally employing non-citizens to circulate recall petitions and has been collecting the signatures of high school students who may or may not be 18 years old. The City of Burlington Police Department making multiple contacts with recall petition circulators on the day of the spring primary because they were operating and collecting signatures so close to polling places that people said, hey, this seems like a violation of the prohibition on electioneering within 100 feet of the entrance to a polling place, so they called local law enforcement. When Burlington police officers arrived, they noticed that the recall petition circulators were not, as the law requires, Wisconsin Statute 8.40, subsection 2, they were not American citizens. They were from Mexico and Honduras and were circulating petitions in violation of the Wisconsin statute. Now, this, as a loyal listener reminded me, kind of draws all of this full circle. Loyal listener pointed out that the recall petition circulators were actually, and they're openly advertising for this, they are paying $8 per valid signature for petition circulators. Now, I am not entirely sure about the legality of this, whether or not you're allowed to pay somebody. You obviously aren't allowed to pay somebody per their signature. For example, if I'm one of these recall petition circulators and I go up to producer Dave and say, Dave, here, sign this, I'll give you $5, that's rather obviously election bribery and is very, very, very illegal. Is it legal to pay someone to circulate a petition per signature? My guess would be yes. It doesn't strike me as the most ethical thing in the world, but I guess, we get ratings bonuses here in the world of radio for each individual listener, so it behooves me to get as many people as possible listening to my show. I guess if you're getting paid per signature, why not? However, knowingly using people who are not qualified to serve as election petition circulators, or as is also alleged by multiple law enforcement sources, talking to me exclusively, recall petition circulators knowingly collecting signatures on a recall petition of people who are not yet 18 years old, which they allegedly were doing, or at least are suspected to have been doing, because they were circulating petitions among high school students, some of whom obviously are 18, but the overwhelming majority are not. If they knowingly collected signatures from 17-year-olds, 16-year-olds, people who are not qualified to sign recall petitions because they're not qualified electors, then that theoretically would violate Wisconsin Statute 12.13. No person may falsify any information in respect to or fraudulently deface or destroy a recall petition or petition for a referendum. The penalty for violating this is, it's a Class I felony. So this is a crime. Now, it's not a serious felony, but it is punishable by a maximum penalty of 3.5 years in prison and $10,000 in fines. If, in fact, this was knowingly going on, then, in actuality, this is a serious felony. I can confirm that there has been an investigation that has been ongoing into this, just as there is an active law enforcement investigation following the Wisconsin Ethics Commission's move to recommend criminal charges against those involved in the Adam Steen primary campaign against Voss a little bit less than 2 years ago. I recognize a lot of people have feelings about this. A lot of people might have questions about this. We are still waiting for a statement from the Recall Voss campaign. I'm checking my email right now just to make sure I didn't get a statement in the last couple of minutes while I've been on the air. And I am awaiting a statement from the Burlington Police Department about what exactly has been going on here. But yeah, if you would like to reach out, 414-799-1130 is our adventknows.com talk and text line. You can also reach us toll free, 1-800-838-9476, or email me directly, dod@iheartmedia.com. Here's one. If the people collecting signatures are getting paid per signature, I wonder if they are paying people to put their signature on that petition. I'm sure that would be another statute violation. It would be. There's no way to, I don't have any proof of that. What I can tell you is there was an advertisement that was forwarded to me from Recall Voss offering $8 a signature. And I guess the petition circulators were actually telling the law enforcement officers who responded and questioned them about what exactly they were doing that they were getting $8 or something like that per signature. Were they? You're getting $8 a signature. You're essentially getting money for your time, right? But you're not getting paid by the hour. Would there not be some sort of incentive to say, hey, I'll give you $2 if you sign this. You're still getting $6. It's still all profit to you. Let's take a phone call from Andrew in Waukesha. You're on the Dan O'Donnell Show. What's going on, Andrew?
Yeah, thanks for taking my call. So I've been down there. I've covered the recall, and quite frankly, you're suggesting that they're out there with wads of cash, which is not the case. The office pays people for signatures after they've been checked, and they're issued a 1099. So there is no exchange of dollars to pay people to sign. They are paying the people who are collecting the signatures.
Yeah.
But that's 100% legal. Here's what I want to know, because I know that I've sent you an email from the Valley Popcorn CEO who claims that Robin Voss shook him down when he tried to get into the popcorn business, threatened him, and he's willing to talk to anybody about that. He hates Robin Voss because of that. He can't stand the fact that Republicans defend somebody who would do that.
Okay.
And yet nobody in talk radio talks about the ethics of that.
So what we're getting into a little bit, Andrew, is what's known as the tu quo que fallacy, i.e. but you too, commonly known as whataboutism. So, okay, nobody wants to talk to some I didn't know the popcorn business was that gangster and that Robin Voss is like the Tony Soprano of the popcorn world.
I know you have the email.
Buddy, I get 1,000 emails a day. I honestly, if you did send it, and I have no reason to believe that you didn't, a lot of stuff just gets lost in the flood. My apologies. I am on literally every single marketing person's mass email list, every single politician. Liberals think it's hilarious to sign me up for various pro-choice and I don't know. I'm on every email, so I do apologize. But the point, Andrew, is, okay, so this guy is very upset at Robin Voss, and I get people have very strong feelings about Voss. But let's take Robin Voss out of the equation. Let's say it was an effort to recall Dan O'Donnell from the position of talk show host because he didn't get your email, okay? So, Andrew, you're so mad at me that you launch a recall petition against me. And you use people who aren't legally qualified to serve as petition circulators, regardless of whether your aim, your goals are good, the means to that end isn't. And it does violate the law. And now you've got, law enforcement investigate. This is the second straight effort to take down Voss that seems to run afoul of the law. Do you follow me on that one?
Absolutely, and any recall that is done outside of the law should be investigated, and if the signatures are deemed to be collected by ineligible nominee petitioners, then absolutely throw them out, arrest the people, and charge them. I'm not saying I'm for or against the recall. What I'm saying is that, yes, this is clearly a signal. If people are willing to spend this much money, and if you have people around the state, and I know people that travel the state, I travel the state, you ask them about Robin Voss, they hate him. And yet the Republican Party, conservative talk show hosts want to go after the nomination petition signer or, collectors, as opposed to the guy who's the actual problem.
And I understand that. Believe me, Andrew, I do. I completely understand that Voss is, frankly, despised among a large swath of the rank and file. The issue I have is always, we get into this idea that the end justifies the means. And I guarantee that's what the Steen campaign was saying. Oh, hey, look, we are going up against a fundraising juggernaut here, and we need to do everything possible. Hey, Langlade County, why don't you help us out? Because you hate Voss, we hate Voss, everybody hates Voss. It's all good, right? Because we're going to get rid of Voss. Yes, what we're doing might violate the law. It might get us in trouble if we're discovered. But when you operate with that as your sort of guiding philosophy, that everything is justified so long as you're on the side of the angels, you sort of end up with the same sort of, I'll call it Voss derangement syndrome that the left has been afflicted with in the form of Trump derangement syndrome forever. Since 2016. They've been peddling the nonsensical Russia collusion hoax. They have been launching investigation after investigation after investigation. They have thoroughly destroyed the concept of the rule of law in this country, all in an effort to take down a politician they don't like. On a much smaller level, in this 63rd Assembly District, soon not to be the 63rd Assembly District, are we not seeing the same sort of thing? When you sacrifice ethics, when you sacrifice your own morality, and more importantly, you jeopardize yourself by putting yourself in potential legal trouble, what have you really gained? And believe me, folks, I understand. Look, the left gets away with it. Liberals get away with this all the time. Believe me, I understand the frustration, but also understand that the game is rigged. I will never tell you otherwise. The lawfare game is absolutely rigged in this country. But I'm telling you, because of that, you as a conservative, you as someone who wants to advance Republican conservative causes and advance Republican conservative politicians are automatically under a microscope. You're automatically scrutinized, and you will, with unscrupulous law enforcement agencies and district attorneys, prosecutors, judges, because of your political affiliation. There is a differing standard of justice. And just please, I hope you all understand that. Dan O'Donnell Show, classical conservatism, contemporary style. Coming right back.
Hello. Hey, can I have your attention for just a moment? If you're in Racine County, I'm talking to you. You know, we have elections in August and November. That's when we can decide to vote to keep lawmakers on the job or throw them out and try someone new. This recall business with Robin Voss, it's just plain dumb. It's a giant waste of more than $400,000 in taxpayer money. And we just have to turn around and have the regular elections in November anyway. Whatever you think of Robin Voss, just say no to the stupid recall. Don't sign a petition because you're sick of politics as usual. The stupid recall won't accomplish anything other than wasting taxpayer dollars. It's bad enough when politicians do that to us. We shouldn't do it to ourselves. Okay? All right, I'll let you get back to whatever you were doing. Paid for by Wisconsinites for Liberty Fund. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee.
Dan Voss, owner at Cut and Go here. Bad winter tree damage? Call Cut and Go. We'll bring a chipper and loader and get your property looking beautiful and your trees prepared for maximum recovery this year. A Tons of Trees movement. CutandGoTrees.com.
Hot summer night. Lightning strike. Down goes the tree, right through their bedroom wall, nearly ruining a walnut headboard, which is pretty hard wood. Fortunately, the customers were okay. But the headboard? That wasn't. Until they called us. We made that Victorian headboard better than new. So if you're looking for the finest in furniture finishing, repair, and heirloom restoration, by golly, it's Mullally. Mullally Furniture Finishing and Repair. We're no job's too small. Serving everywhere. Quality counts. Well, if you haven't heard me bragging by now, we're darn good. Actually, my dad has no qualms about saying we're the best. And if you're skeptical, I understand. But all you have to do is go to MullallyFinishing.com to learn why we're great at what we do and see lots of before and after photos that show off our impressive work. So if you're looking for a name you can trust, by golly, it's Mullally. Mullally Furniture Finishing and Repair. Serving everywhere. Quality counts. MULLALY Finishing.com.
I'm Brett Ochtenhagen, owner of Brett Ochtenhagen Seasonal Services and host of the Designer Yard Show. I want to share a landscaping secret with you. Winter is when our ornamental trees and shrubs need us most. We all know that plants need pruning, but why in the winter? Well, first, we can see their structure best when the leaves have fallen. And second, pruning is not so stressful when your plants are dormant. Pruning is affordable and makes a huge impact on the vitality and beauty of your trees and shrubs. So prune this winter and have gorgeous flowers next spring and summer. Pruning also helps keep your plants properly sized. No more dancing around them on the sidewalk or wrestling through them to wash your windows. Call today and schedule a complimentary evaluation of your ornamental plants. Our plant care experts will make sure your trees, shrubs, and perennials perform and look their best. Discover the wonders of nature. Call Brett Ochtenhagen Seasonal Services at 262-392-3444 or look for us online at seasonalservices.com.
Here's another remarkable success story from QC Kinetics. This one from Chad, who hurt his knee at the gym one day, and it just kept on hurting for months.
From my high school football and wrestling days, I already had a little bit of damage in there, but this just sent it over the edge.
Chad tried traditional treatments with no improvement when he turned to the non-surgical regenerative treatments at QC Kinetics.
It was really fascinating how they did their work, and the science behind it was very intriguing, and it works. Extracting the cure out of my own body blew my mind. It's like I'm brand new again. It was fantastic.
That's because the QC Kinetics natural biologic treatments use your body's own healing power to restore damaged tissue in your hips, shoulders, back, and knees, providing long-lasting relief.
Now I'm back at the gym. I'm 100% feeling great.
If you're tired of suffering with pain from arthritis or injury, call QC Kinetics now for a free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 414-285-3474. That's 414-285-3474. 414-285-3474.
It's easy to see. We're being conned by the institutions we used to trust. The mainstream media is distracting us with meaningless headlines instead of focusing on the harsh realities facing American families. We all know something big is coming, and that's why so many folks are preparing. They're becoming more self-reliant by investing in emergency food storage from My Patriot Supply. My Patriot Supply is the nation's largest emergency preparedness company, and they make it easy for you to prepare. Go to mypatriotsupply.com and secure some emergency food kits. There's a dozen to choose from that contain tasty breakfasts, lunches, and dinners, averaging 2,000 calories per day. Get at least one food kit for each family member. My Patriot Supply also sells large solar generators, gravity-powered water filtration systems, heirloom seeds for your garden, and survival gear. Order by 3 p.m. and your items will ship that same day. Time is short. Prepare today. Go to mypatriotsupply.com. mypatriotsupply.com.
Goodyear, Dunlop, Kelly, Continental, General, you name it, we got it.
Plus, free flat tire repair, free tire rotations, and more.
So when you're due for tire service, schedule it at richlawns.com.
That's Rich Lawns with 2 N's.
Rich Lawns.
Tune in every Sunday morning at 10 a.m. as Ellenbecker Investment Group highlights local people and organizations who are using their time and their talents to give back to make a difference in our community. Milwaukee's philanthropic community. Visit ellenbecker.com to learn more.
iHeartRadio is the easy-to-use app for music and radio. Download the free iHeartRadio app today.
Brian, listening to us in Lake Zurich, Illinois. You're on the Dan O'Donnell Show. What's going on, Brian?
Good morning, Dan. I'm chomping at the bit. I'm going to try and keep my rage down. And just to say this, you do a great job. I call fairly often. Megan Wolf is probably one of the main reasons that it's beyond the popcorn thing. Why Robin Voss is so loathed. What I mean is, you do a great job.
I would hope it goes beyond the popcorn. For those who don't get, Robin Voss owns, is it Knight Popcorn, King Popcorn, Medieval Fantasy Village Popcorn, something like that. He owns a popcorn company. And we had a caller who said that there's some rival popcorn company owner who said that Robin Voss held him upside down on top of a building and threatened to let go if he didn't sign over the rights to his Oh, wait, no, I'm sorry. That was Vanilla Ice and Suge Knight. But yeah, okay. So anyway, Brian, I had to get that Vanilla Ice joke in there. So you're saying...
And it was great. I would just say, you, with your law degree, I had called you a lawyer a couple years ago when you had me on the air, and you corrected me very. It was not an insult. You have a law degree, and I respect the education. But there are a lot of Megan Wolfs in other states or similar things going on there. The cheating is so abundant that the one way when they're going to fail, and they're failing now in the courts with Donald Trump, is to cheat. When Hillary Clinton disappeared for 24 hours, it's not because she took it personally. She knows people don't like her. She's not stupid.
What are we talking about?
They were cheating then already, and it didn't work.
When Hillary Clinton disappeared for 24 hours, like when she had that mini stroke or whatever happened during the 9/11 memorial? Is that what you're talking about in 2016?
No,
I'm not sure I follow.
Right after Donald Trump was declared the winner,
she came out and gave a statement.
She thought it was a done deal. She thought their cheating was enough, and it wasn't enough.
She didn't disappear anywhere. She came out that morning, I remember, because I stayed up all night and was on the radio the following morning with her stupid motorcade. I can remember because I honestly was so exhausted but so excited. I was watching her motorcade, and we carried her concession speech live. I'll tell you, Brian, I do appreciate the call. You're kind of a little all over the place, but I get what you're saying. I do understand. It's the fury over Voss shutting down the Michael Gableman election investigation. And I thought Gableman did a fantastic job of demonstrating exactly. And we also had a Legislative Audit Bureau investigation demonstrating exactly what went wrong, what laws were just openly violated in the 2020 presidential election. I had my own investigation, which led directly to a Racine County Sheriff's Department investigation into vote fraud, very obviously running rampant in nursing homes across Wisconsin. that, I get the frustration. I was frustrated none of this resulted in a criminal prosecution, that Megan Wolf is still the election administrator, even though she signed off on something that was so blatantly unlawful as to allow a private group, the National Vote at Home Institute, to come in and just take over election operations in Green Bay, to be influencing election operations in Milwaukee and all of the other cities that took the most, by far the most, Zuckerbucks, as they came to be known. I understand all of that. And Robin Vos is seen by a whole lot of Republicans, I think in some respects rightly so, as saying, look, yeah, laws were broken. Things were not done in accordance with the Wisconsin statute, but we got to move on. And he's just turning the page on all of that. And people are saying, hey, wait a second, what? What are you talking about? We need to ensure that this doesn't happen again. Now, what I have sort of seen as kind of ironic here is that Wisconsin has, in fact, gotten a significant amount of victories. Now, whether they're going to be overturned by the newly liberal Wisconsin Supreme Court remains to be seen. That we did get ballot drop boxes thrown out. You couldn't, for at least a couple of elections, use ballot drop boxes to make it more difficult to ballot harvest. You can't just go to some dimly lit corner in a city like Racine. Oh, how about the city of Racine Scooby-Doo mystery voting machine? Remember that one? Where they just put a polling place on wheels, total violation of Wisconsin law, drove it all around town. The funniest thing in the world was wherever the mayor, Corey Mason, would speak, he'd go to a little diner, and you'd see right outside the Scooby-Doo mystery voting machine. Oh, you liked Mayor Mason. You just met him, you sweet little old lady. Well, looky here. You can go out and vote for him right in the van. Yes, they really were shepherding people into it. Hey, instead of offering them candy to get into a van, all you have to do to get libs to do anything is apparently, hey, here's a questionably legal way to vote for a Democrat. They'll get into any vote you want or any van you want. And I get all that. I do. Trust me, folks, I had to be almost a year of my life investigating all of this stuff. To see not a whole lot happen that I thought should have happened. I thought there should have been criminal prosecutions in Green Bay. That's how just blatant the thumbing the nose at state law. And I thought this was criminal misconduct in public office. I thought for sure this rose to the level. Of course, we've got a Democrat attorney general, never going to do it. You had a member of the Wisconsin Election Commission, Dean Knutson, appointed by a Republican. I believe he was actually appointed by Vos, sadly, ironically enough, who said right before COVID, when they said, we're going to suspend special voting deputies in nursing homes. Well, yeah, I guess we're violating the law here, but, que sera, it's COVID. It's a disease from China. I understand the frustration. I do. But you have got a group of people who are consistently violating the very laws that they swear they're the ones who are put on this earth and put in this state to defend. I mean, just think about the ultimate irony. And Brian is a great example. He is so furious about election fraud being committed. Guess the name of the statute that the Recall Vos people are alleged to have violated. Election fraud. We'll be right back with the Unhinged Liberal of the Day. And it's a doozy. Next.
Classical conservatism. Contemporary style. The Dan O'Donnell Show is coming right back. Fox tonight, TV's most compelling dramas are back.
Put out the alert.
First, a new chapter begins for the cleaning lady.
There's a reward on your head. Everything I've done for my son.
Then, Alert Missing Persons Unit returns.
There's a busload full of missing kids.
Chasing their biggest case yet.
We will get your children back. Every single one of them.
The season premiere of The Cleaning Lady, followed by the season premiere of Alert.
It all starts tonight at 7, followed by Fox 6 News at 9 and 10.
Rob Haswell here to tell you about Fox Local, the free TV streaming app. It's available on all your favorite TV streaming devices. You get live streaming news, weather, sports, politics, Fox 6 investigations, Contact 6 reports, and news from all around the country. It's one-stop shopping for all your Fox 6 favorites whenever you want them. The people you know, station you trust. Fox 6 is Fox Local, the free TV streaming app.
Hey guys, welcome to the Home Box Stop. Ready for those new kitchen cabinets and countertops? Okay, well, let's get you guys going. Inches, centimeters, inches, right?
Right.
Is this your first time? Oh, no, been here for years. Actually, in light bulbs, I'm covering for Karen. She took the week off. One sec. No worries. The computer does all the work.
Customer assistance to light bulbs.
Oh, that's me, BRB.
Yeah, let's go.
Granite Plus?
Hurry, here she comes.
Hi, I'm Laz with Granite Plus. Countertops and cabinets is what we do. As a meticulously detailed local fabricator, say goodbye to the middleman and upgrade your home with real factory direct savings. Homeowners, flippers, contractors, why would you pay more? Go to GranitePlusUSA.com, that's GranitePlusUSA.com, or visit any of our Milwaukee area showrooms and start saving today.
Our mission is to protect and uphold our reputation. At Semper Fi, it's the banner we all march under, because the reputation we earn and uphold belongs to all of us. And without a strong reputation in the exterior remodeling business, you're here today and gone tomorrow. And when you've earned a good reputation, that's what makes the difference in value. It's the little extra that you get for the price. And that assurance is actually what counts the most, because it means the good money you're spending with us is not going to go to waste. A roof you can rely on, with a warranty that has a backbone, Craftsman quality airtight window and door installations, brick and stone masonry that's clean and sharp, and new siding that's been known to stop traffic. And it's all backed by a team that over the last 20 years have put a lot of heart and soul into building a reputation that you can believe in. This is Brad Youngbluth with Semper Fi Roofing and Exteriors, your local, veteran-owned and operated exterior remodeling company.
We keep you safe, warm, and dry, Semper Fi.
Jesus said, "Destroy this temple, and in 3 days I will raise it up." Hello, this is Archbishop Listecki. Jesus boldly proclaims that his life is the temple that will be raised up, and nothing can destroy the sacrifice of his life on the cross. It is God's love freely given through his Son for our redemption. He offers his loving relationship in the Eucharist at Mass. It's Lent. Join us at Mass.
Pure Talk believes in American values and that free should mean exactly that, free. Well, switch to Pure Talk today and you'll get a free Samsung 5G smartphone. Now, qualifying plans start at just $35 a month for unlimited talk, text, 15 gigs of data, and, of course, mobile hotspot. Just dial pound 250, say the keyword Pure Talk, claim your eligibility for your free brand new Samsung 5G smartphone. Start saving on wireless today and switch to my cell phone company, Pure Talk.
Hi, it's John Reitz from Great Midwest Bank, and as a community bank, we sincerely appreciate our customer loyalty. Over nearly 90 years, we've done all we can to return the favor. Great Midwest Bank offers flexible solutions that bigger banks and credit unions simply can't, because our entire team is right here in the community. We love helping our neighbors when we're at work and then catching up over the weekend. Visit us at greatmidwestbank.com. Great Midwest Bank, your simply local equal housing lender.
Wisconsin, you deserve better. You deserve stress-free quality roofing. Let Klaus Roofing Systems by Buck Buckley, BBB award-winning service, take care of you and your family. For a free roofing consultation, visit KlausRoofingByBuck.com. And remember, put a Klaus on your house.
Live coverage and comprehensive analysis of today's Super Tuesday primaries tonight at 9 right here on Wisconsin's most listened to radio station, News Talk 1130 WISN.
Show conservative thought, not just talk. And each and every day on it, we name one leftist who goes above and beyond, is so out there, is so nuts, that we have no choice but to name them the unhinged liberal of the day.
Make me crazy.
Trump is Hitler.
We are in pre-Nazi Germany.
All white people are racist. Does that make me crazy?
Trump is dangerous because he's evil.
America is over.
I've got to tell you, the last 24 hours have been spectacular in the realm of hunting unhinged liberals. It seems as though every one of them has been freaking out over the Supreme Court's 9-0 decision to not allow a state like Colorado to kick Donald Trump off the ballot just because. And in fact, coming up at the top of the hour, we will have some of the very, very best of those responses. But one liberal, as he has for almost 20 years now, stood out from the rest. Former MSNBC host, current Chili's waiter Keith Olbermann, had one of the single greatest rants on X I've ever seen. Included in that, bleep Ketanji Brown Jackson, bleep Sonia Sotomayor, bleep Elena Kagan. Why can't liberal women get bleeping anything done? But what makes Keith the unhinged liberal of the day, and just gonna warn you, we are going to talk about bodily functions here, so if you've got little ones in the car, maybe turn down the radio for a little bit. Olbermann tweeted, "The Supreme Court has betrayed democracy. Its members, including Jackson, Kagan, and Sotomayor, have proved themselves inept at reading comprehension. And collectively, the court has shown itself to be corrupt and illegitimate. It must be dissolved." Now, that's unhinged enough. But when someone responded, "Cry more, 9-0, Olbermann responded, "Those aren't tears, fascist. They're urine. I'm sure you enjoy being bathed in it." More strangely, that's someone else's pee on his face. "Those aren't tears, fascist. They're urine. I'm sure you enjoy being bathed in it." For that rather odd self-own, Keith Olbermann, your unhinged liberal of the day. You know, for years, liberals loved Keith Olbermann because he was so brave in telling the truth every night. He was so courageous. Well, it turns out he's yellow. Tip your waitresses. Try the veal. When we come back after the top of the hour news, we will get into Super Tuesday today with a decidedly more muted feel than 4 years ago when it was Joe Biden's coronation and President Trump, of course, didn't face a primary opponent. But this year, with the primaries all but over, we will focus on, I don't know, the 9-month slog of a general election, which starts now. We will also get some of the other greatest responses. Liberals just absolutely losing their you-know-what No, I'm not talking about what Keith Olbermann apparently lost over the Supreme Court decision. Stay tuned. Dan O'Donnell Show coming right back.
News that's factual, fair, and balanced. This is continuing coverage on News Talk 1130 WISN, Milwaukee.
Good morning. I'm Ted Allen. Milwaukee Mayor Cavalier Johnson delivered his State of the City address yesterday. He highlighted an issue on the minds of many.
I've directed departments throughout city government to act to reduce the scourge of reckless driving.
Johnson said efforts include 45 new traffic calming projects this year.
Traffic calming, it works. It works. It reduces reckless driving, and that's more than just conjecture. We have the numbers to show it.
He also addressed efforts to reduce crime and lead poisoning. Authorities are looking for video of a specific car as part of the search for missing 3-year-old Elijah Vu. Police in Two Rivers yesterday asked people to check their security cameras for any footage of a 1997 four-door Nissan Altima with a Wisconsin license plate that begins with an A and ends in a 0. Investigators say the car would be in Two Rivers sometime between 2 p.m. and 9 p.m. on February 19th. That's the day before Elijah went missing. He's now been missing for 2 weeks. Today is Super Tuesday, in which 16 states and 1 U.S. territory are holding presidential nominating contests. Both Republicans and Democrats will award more than 1/3 of their total delegates available throughout the entire nominating event. WISN will carry live coverage of the Super Tuesday primary results tonight, starting at 9. Checking the WISN Sports scoreboard after defeating the Los Angeles Clippers last night, the Bucks next head to San Francisco to face the Golden State Warriors tomorrow night. From the Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin News Center, I'm Ted Allen on Wisconsin's most listened to radio station, News Talk 1130 WISN.
Dan O'Donnell here for my great friends at Mander Collision and Glass, now with 6 locations to serve you. You hear me talking often about Mander's customer service. Well, here's one of their customers, Haley, who writes, I had a small chip in my windshield. I called and came in right away to see if it could be fixed. Mander had a glass technician in the building that day, and within 20 minutes of arriving, my chip was filled. Very friendly staff and great customer service. My husband and I have used Mander for a few needs with our vehicles, and we will continue to go to them. Thank you so much for sharing your story, Haley. Your loyalty is a reflection of Mander's extreme dedication to customer service. They'll go the extra mile as a matter of policy, and that is why I tell so many people to go to Mander. Now with 6 locations to serve you, Mander truly is your best decision after a collision or for windshield repair.
Here's the latest forecast from the Fox 6 weather experts.
Rain winding down early this morning, then slowly clearing through the afternoon. High today near 46 inland, 42 lakeside with a strong northeast wind. Overnight tonight, a few clouds should be in the low 30s, back to 40s tomorrow. I'm Fox 6 Chief Meteorologist Rob Haswell.
This report is sponsored by Audible. Come to Audible and discover the best selection of audiobooks without exception. Bestsellers, new releases, plus podcasts and exclusive Audible originals. You'll find everything you love all in one place. Sign up for a free 30-day trial at audible.com.
While most other furniture finishers restore wood furniture using high-pressure water to remove old lacquer and varnish, we only use a chemical solvent. Because when you use water, it will eventually raise the grain, loosen glue joints, and lift veneer. So if you have something really special that you'd like to restore, call us. For the finest in furniture finishing and heirloom restoration, by golly, it's Mullally. Mullally Furniture Finishing and Repair. Serving everywhere. Quality counts. MULLALY finishing.com. If you want your restored antique piece to remain primitive, no problem. Maybe you want to restore it to as good as new condition. We can do that. The way we work is based solely on what your needs are. And that seems to make the process of restoring your unique piece almost always a positive one. So if you're looking for the finest in furniture finishing and heirloom restoration, by golly, it's Mullally. Mullally Furniture Finishing and Repair. We're no jobs too small. Serving everywhere. Quality counts. MULLALY finishing.com.
This is Michael Lynch from the Lynch Truck Center. We've been working hard sourcing work trucks from all over the country. We currently have over 300 commercial work trucks in stock and ready for your choice of upfit. Our sales team is 100% dedicated to commercial trucks, which means our truck professionals can get you the right truck right now. Our new inventory of Chevrolet, GMC, Isuzu, Hino, not to mention our used inventory, combined with nearly 30 commercial financial lenders, ensures the lowest rates possible for you and the fastest buying experience. Our service center has over 20 dedicated truck bays running 2 shifts, a contact-free sales process, and delivery drivers ready to deliver your truck right to your door. We know your time is important, so we make sure our process is quick and hassle-free. Find your new truck today at lynchtruckcenter.com or stop into the Lynch Truck Center at Highway 36 in Waterford. We won't disappoint you.
Over $6 billion in tax refunds were flagged by the IRS for possible identity theft in 2023. If you're in a bind this tax season, LifeLock can help. Their U.S.-based restoration specialists are dedicated to helping solve identity theft issues, and all plans are backed by the $1 Million Protection Package, which means if you lose money because of identity theft, LifeLock will reimburse you to the limits of your plan. Go to LifeLock.com and save up to 25% your first year with promo code CLAY.
iHeart Podcast Update. This week on your free iHeartRadio app. Math and Magic. Stories from the frontiers of marketing with Bob Pittman, Season 6. Join iHeartMedia Chairman and CEO as he analyzes the math and magic of marketing, sitting down with today's most gifted disruptors. Marketing School, digital marketing and online marketing tips. Actionable digital marketing lessons learned through years of being in the trenches. Office Hours with Mike Stive. Mike sits down with the world's most important chief executives to answer your most pressing questions about leadership, career, and life. Hear these podcasts and more on your free iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts.
A place where freedom of speech and freedom of thought live on. Stay informed all day, every day on News Talk 1130 WISN.
Be sure to listen to the Annex Wealth Management Investment Show Saturday mornings at 11 and Sunday afternoons at 1 on News Talk 1130 WISN. Annex provides its expertise to arm listeners with the knowledge and tools to invest wisely. Annex Wealth Management. Know the difference.
Listen on the free iHeartRadio app for all your music, news, talk, and sports radio. Podcasts, too. Download the app. Free never sounded so good.
So when I was a little boy, I used to get up early for school. I was probably the only little boy who would get up early. And my folks had this coffee maker that they would automatically set, and it would go off at like 6:15 or whatever it was. And when I was about 10, 11 years old, I would hear the coffee maker go off. It sort of served as the unofficial family alarm clock. And I would, as only a 10 or 11-year-old boy can, jump out of bed, race out of bed, run downstairs, and have to be on the couch with the TV on and Sports Center on before the coffee maker stopped grinding the beans for the morning. It was a simpler time. I was thinking about that little boy today because my 2 favorite Sports Center anchors were Dan Patrick and Keith Olbermann. I never could have imagined that 10-year-old boy watching Keith Olbermann could have never imagined that as a 42-year-old man, I would be talking about Keith Olbermann tweeting that he has pee all over his face because he's so mad about a Supreme Court ruling on Donald Trump, the former president. Like 10-year-old me would have just not understood anything. If I could go back, like Back to the Future 2 style, I wouldn't get the almanac. I wouldn't get the sports almanac. I would be waiting on the couch for that little 10-year-old boy to run downstairs. Coffee maker would be on. I'd be waiting. I'd be like, hey, see Keith Olbermann? He's got the mustache now. In 2024, he's going to be admitting that he's got pee all over his face because he's so mad about the Supreme Court. Donald Trump is president, or at least he was. I'd be like, what? Next thing you'll tell me O.J. Simpson is a murderer. Oh, my goodness. Too funny. Too funny. Part of my childhood, part of all of our childhoods, if you're my age or younger, Chris Mortensen. And anybody who loved football, Chris Mortensen, who had been battling cancer, I believe, for a couple of years, prostate cancer. He passed away at the age of 72 on Sunday. Some of just the greatest of all time. Stuart Scott. Booyah. Booyah, Stu Scott. I remember when he and Kenny Mayne and some of the younger, Rich Eisen, the younger generation of Sports Center anchors, Dan Patrick and Keith Olbermann, The Big Show, they were my favorite. And then, of course, they were sort of immortalized in the Hootie and the Blowfish, Only Want to Be With You video. And, yeah, Chris Mortensen is gone. Who else is gone? Stu Scott is gone. What? No, not Anderson. Anderson's from Green Bay. I know. Oh, my gosh. John something. Black guy, real deep voice. Oh, he just had this. John Clayton is gone. Dick Schaap passed away a long time ago. Sports Reporters, I used to watch that on Sunday. Keith Olbermann's Sanity is gone. 414-799-1130 if you would like to join the adventknows.com talk and text line. You can also reach us toll free, 1-800-838-9476. Email me, dod@iheartmedia.com, at Dan O'Donnell Show on X, Facebook.com/Dan O'Donnell Show, and YouTube.com/Dan O'Donnell Show as well. Speaking of broadcasters, yesterday, John Saunders. Thank you, Dave. I can picture him. I'm like, what is his name? When did he pass away? No, he's been gone since 2016. Man, oh man. Clayton, I knew Clayton was just the consummate pro, and there was a running joke that he was like the most buttoned-down guy in the world. There was a running joke that he had a long ponytail, and they actually parodied that in what I believe to be the greatest This Is Sports Center commercial of all time, where he does his hit and rips off his suit, which is just like a fake, and he's got like a Slayer Megadeth t-shirt. Yeah, and he jumps on the bed, he plays heavy metal music, he undoes the ponytail. Ma! I just got done with my TV hit. It's sort of how I felt. And I saw that. That probably came out, boy, oh boy, I was a kid. I would have never guessed that that's sort of how I do TV hits. I'm usually wearing a tracksuit. I don't have a mullet, but half the time I'm wearing shorts. You see how I dress around here. I look like a homeless mafioso in my Adidas tracksuits. Is this one of the shirts my mom gave me for Christmas? No, I bought this one. I want to say this is a Walmart special. I buy an inordinate amount of shirts from Walmart. No, this was on clearance for like $10. And as my wife points out, that if I'm there to get like coffee or she sends me to get milk or something, she always has to wear, and she says that I hide the bags of George brand shirts. George is like the men's house brand from Walmart. And as I have said on this show, I'm a George connoisseur. But the reality is the only time I wear shirts like this are typically when I'm on the air, and you can't see close enough to know if this is a, $55 shirt from Men's Warehouse or if this is some $10 piece of junk from George. And I love you folks watching on the Dano Cam, but not enough to pay $50 for a shirt. All right, we had Keith Olbermann losing his ever-loving mind over the Supreme Court decision. We reported on this live as it happened yesterday, 9 o'clock yesterday, as the Supreme Court, or rather, as our theme music was playing, the Supreme Court came back 9-0, 9-0, ruling that a state does not have the power to remove a federal candidate from the ballot. Now, there was also, as part of this decision, a 5-4 decision about Congress being the sole entity that can remove a candidate, a federal candidate, from the ballot. And liberals are seizing on that. Well, this was really a 5-4 decision. Do you understand the concept of mootness? Like something is moot, it's a moot point. In the law, you can actually object, you can actually appeal rulings on the concept of mootness, that the question that was raised doesn't actually matter. It's a moot point, right? This was moot. The 5-4 decision was moot because the court ruled unanimously that an individual state can't just sort of say, oh, yep, you're off the ballot. You know who couldn't fathom that? Joy Reid, who comes up with an example of, let's say, well, what if a 12-year-old or a heaven forfend, a foreigner wanted to run for office?
So if states can't enforce Section 3 of Article 14, can they enforce that? Couldn't a 12-year-old say, I'm running for president, or Arnold Schwarzenegger? Could a state knock them off the ballot? Because that's a federal office. They'd be running for president. If the states can't enforce it, can they enforce this?
We really don't understand the difference between serving and running, do we? There is, in fact, no constitutional bar from running for office, right? 12-year-old could, theoretically. Arnold Schwarzenegger could. Gonna find a big problem if he wins. The age, natural-born citizen requirement, those are for serving, not for running. Doesn't really matter, though, because, the issue is moot. So, too, apparently, is the Supreme Court itself, which Stephen Colbert declared unconstitutional.
The Supreme Court said Trump can stay on all state ballots in a unanimous ruling. I agree. It is a ruling that I will remind you no one has to follow, because last week I declared the Supreme Court unconstitutional.
Now we're getting somewhere. I know Colbert is a comedy host, but the Supreme Court itself is unconstitutional, or more eloquently stated, invalid, antiquated, corrupt. The Supreme Court is not something that we have to listen to, because that fifth vote, that fifth deciding vote in, again, the moot portion of this, was Clarence Thomas. And did you know Clarence Thomas has gone on vacations with a rich friend? A guy who, incidentally, has never appeared before the court, which is sort of weird that they're, going with this. So, Dave, I am not myself a wealthy guy, but if I take you on vacation, let's say, well, we do have the single best job perk, I think, in the entire universe, and that's that we go on cruises, we go on vacations. Okay, Dave goes, we? The hell is this we? Yeah, Paul's on his cruise. Apparently, to be a producer, you just have to wait like 30 years, and then you get your own cruise. I guess if I die, you might get a cruise in like 20 years, Dave. Yeah, producer Paul is on his cruise. All right, let's take this to its logical conclusion. Let's say I'm going and we're doing a beautiful cruise, Venice and Croatia in a couple of months. So excited about this. Dave, if I take you, because you're my buddy, we work together, you're my friend. Oh, here's an even better example. One of my kids isn't going to be going on the other trip we're doing, London, Paris, Normandy, right? If I say, hey, Dave, come along. He's my friend. I want to take him on a trip. So, yeah, it's all Jerry Bott all the time. And let's say Dave has there's no ethical issue about Dave. Would it matter if Dave's my friend? I take him on it. This is exactly what the Harlan Crow thing is about. But, of course, the left has decided that the digital lynching of Clarence Thomas must continue 30-plus years later. And he is going to be the face of this illegitimate court. Weird that they're going after the black guy, and now the pressure campaign to get the wise Latino woman to retire has stepped up in earnest. So weird how that happens. They target two minorities instead of the white liberal like Elena Kagan or the white conservative like Sam Alito. It's so weird that Democrats go after the black guy all the time for being corrupt, for being unethical. It's almost like there is some deep-seated resentment, especially among Democrats in the South, against black people for some reason. I don't know, can't quite put my finger on that one, but here we are. And we've arrived at something. The court is illegitimate. The court has its thumb on the scale for Donald Trump. And despite our best efforts as liberals, despite our best efforts, it's now going to be up to the idiot voters to save democracy. That was an actual thing said by the actual Secretary of State of Colorado, a woman by the name of Jenna Griswold.
My larger reaction is disappointment. I do believe that states should be able, under our Constitution, to bar oath-breaking insurrectionists. And ultimately, this decision leaves open the door for Congress to act, to pass authorizing legislation. But we know that Congress is a nearly non-functioning body. So ultimately, it will be up to the American voters to save our democracy in November.
Think about the irony of that statement. It will be up to the voters to save democracy. We were unable to save democracy by kicking one of the candidates off the ballot. So, sigh. I guess the voters will have to take part in democracy to save democracy. Larry Sabato, or is it Sabato? Sabato? Is it Sabato? I don't know. The guy's blocked me on Twitter for some reason. But Larry Sabato, I am not privy to nuggets of wisdom like this. Larry Sabato, or Sabato, if you're in Cudahy. Larry Sabato said, and he is putting it all out there, what we're really getting to, why liberals are so upset and so disgusted by the U.S. Supreme Court decision, is because now they can't save the filthy, unwashed masses like you from voting against yourselves.
You can't save a people from themselves. If they're determined to reelect him after he organized that insurrection, then there's nothing to stop the people from doing that.
There is a whole lot of A, arrogance, B, contempt, and C, revealing stuff in that one little 10-second soundbite.
You can't save a people from themselves. If they're determined to reelect him after he organized that insurrection, then there's nothing to stop the people from doing that.
You see, folks, liberals were just trying to save the people from themselves, to save democracy by not giving the people the option to vote for the guy who's the threat to democracy. In other words, we need to protect democracy from the idiots who vote in a democracy, i.e. you. Ladies and gentlemen, it's the Dan O'Donnell Show, and it's coming right back.
The deeper the hole, the more damage you're going to cause, especially if you're driving around with low tire pressure.
We're talking about potholes, and if you're not careful, they'll spring up out of nowhere and bite you right in the keister.
We've fixed broken ball joints, broken control arms, blown struts, damaged wheel alignments.
You name it, we've fixed it. That wheel alignment is an adjustment of your suspension, which is a system that connects your car to its wheels.
And when your alignment's off, you get uneven, premature tire wear, and we have a fix for that too.
If a pothole has bitten you where it hurts, come to Richlands for a professional evaluation by one of our ASE certified technicians.
And at the very least, we'll make sure you have the right amount of air pressure in your tires.
And remember, be safe, buckle up, and hey, always make sure you've got good tread on your tires. I'm Brett Matchke with Richlands, your
Due for service.
Since 1964, we've changed your tires and so much more. Richlands Tire and Service, such a refreshing change.
services and installs wells and sump pumps? Who does plumbing and repairs? How about water heaters? Who does that?
S&K Pump and Plumbing.
But who services and installs water softeners and iron filters? And what about kitchen or bathroom remodeling? Who does that? There must be one company that can handle all of your water needs. Who can you call?
When it comes to water, one call does it all. S&K Pump and Plumbing.
Dan O'Donnell here for CertaPro Painters, who provide excellent workmanship, quality, and a worry-free process for both residential and commercial spaces, all at the right price. You can trust them to get the job done right and safely, as I did when they worked on my home. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated right here in the state. Schedule your free estimate online at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C, pro.com. When choosing a painting professional, the choice is simple. Choose happy. Choose CertaPro Painters.
It's easy to see. We're being conned by the institutions we used to trust. The mainstream media is distracting us with meaningless headlines instead of focusing on the harsh realities facing American families. We all know something big is coming, and that's why so many folks are preparing. They're becoming more self-reliant by investing in emergency food storage from My Patriot Supply. My Patriot Supply is the nation's largest emergency preparedness company, and they make it easy for you to prepare. Go to MyPatriotSupply.com and secure some emergency food kits. There's a dozen to choose from that contain tasty breakfasts, lunches, and dinners, averaging 2,000 calories per day. Get at least one food kit for each family member. My Patriot Supply also sells large solar generators, gravity-powered water filtration systems, heirloom seeds for your garden, and survival gear. Order by 3 p.m. and your items will ship that same day. Time is short. Prepare today. Go to MyPatriotSupply.com. MyPatriotSupply.com.
You're listening to The Dan O'Donnell Show.
Did I just wake up and it's 2015? We were talking about time travel earlier this hour. Is Facebook being down really still that massive of a deal that I get about 1,000 texts saying I have to talk about it? Facebook's down. I don't know. This end of topic. Messenger and Instagram are apparently also down. I have no idea if this is people. Instagram is not down. All right. Dave still has a picture of a girl in a bikini that he just showed me on Instagram. That's wild. Is that your wife now that she's lost all that weight? Paul sent you that? No, okay, I was going to say, Paul's out on his cruise. Dave obviously very jealous that Paul is taking pictures of all of our listeners in their bikinis. No, I couldn't even see what the picture was. You know darn well your wife would confiscate your phone if you were looking at pictures of other girls in bikinis, right? Confiscate? She'd lodge it somewhere where physics would suggest it wouldn't fit. Yeah. Loyal listener Tim reminds us that amongst all of the ESPN personalities that we grew up with, Pedro Gomez, the baseball reporter, died a couple of years back of a heart attack. Totally forgot about that one. Chris Berman's still kicking, right? He's still on, I think. He still does the Sunday. Oh, when we were growing up, Boomer on Sunday night on ESPN. I'm telling you, before ESPN got woke and unwatchable because all of their shows revolve around ridiculous sports talk radio debates about who's on your Mount Rushmore, and they started analyzing football as though every position but quarterback doesn't exist. Did you see also, speaking of quarterbacks, Russell Wilson cut from the Denver Broncos? They are taking an $85 million cap hit just to get him out of town. How much do Sean Payton, the coach of the Denver Broncos, and Russell Wilson despise each other? Well, apparently you can put a dollar value on the hate. It's $85 million. That's insane. That's going to cripple the franchise. They're going to have to restructure contracts. Right. They lost their draft picks to Seattle in the trade to get Russell Wilson. What an absolute disaster by any stretch of the imagination. The Russell Wilson trade will go down as one of the absolute worst in the history of the NFL. Herschel Walker was bad, but that's only because we have the benefit of hindsight. And 3 of the draft picks that the Cowboys got for Herschel Walker turned into Hall of Famers. They got Emmitt Smith, Irvin, and Aikman, I feel like. Aikman was before that. Oh, that was the Tony Mandarich draft. You're right. But either way, it was they built their 1990s dynasty off of that Herschel Walker trade. Russell Wilson might go down as being every bit as bad. Well, congratulations, listeners and Dave. I now thoroughly forgot what it was I was going to talk about. Oh, yes, Facebook being down. Facebook being down. Thank you. Thank you. Where am I going to go for all of the boomer memes that you folks send me every day? What am I going to do? I kid. Of course, I'm looking at, we use a software called StreamYard. And look, Dave, you're on StreamYard as well. We're still apparently streaming live on Facebook. So that hasn't been disrupted. I can't get into my Facebook. Yeah, nobody's watching on Facebook. I can't get into my Facebook account. I just assume this is kind of how my life works. Do you know what I assumed? When I couldn't get in, it said my password was incorrect. I said, oh, great. Some so-and-so has gotten access to my Facebook account. I'm assuming that I've been hacked because honestly, I can tell every so often I will get password attempts on my Facebook, on my X, on pretty much anything. And I'm just, is it, Indian hackers? Possibly. Is it lefties? Yeah. Producer Dave says I was talking about ivermectin, and that's what got me booted from Facebook. No. It's apparently a worldwide system-wide outage, and people are obviously concerned. I kid that, it's 2015. This comes, of course, on the heels of that massive AT&T outage, which was immediately blamed on cyber warfare or EMPs or something. And frankly, folks, it did strike me as a tad odd. These system outages do apparently happen. And it does sort of show the vulnerability of, in AT&T's case, our power grid, in Facebook's case, digital security. And it should, I think, raise awareness and raise concern about, you can no longer have password 1 as your password in the digital space, especially if you're a Facebook engineer. But I have no idea what's going on with the Meta outage. I have no idea if it's Chinese cyber warfare or if it's just your run-of-the-mill thing. But this is why people are so concerned, and they want me to talk about the Facebook outage. But I have absolutely no idea what's going on and can provide, therefore, absolutely no insight into it. So because I have no news, because I have no insight, this is why I am a great talk show host. We will analyze Super Tuesday, something I can, in fact, speak intelligently about. Coming up next here on The Dan O'Donnell Show.
Hi, I'm Mike Madsen, owner of Color Wheel Painting. I know you think you have a lot of choices when it comes to hiring a painter, like your hungover nephew who is home from college, or those guys who did your neighbor's exterior. Maybe you call a big sorta professional franchise and see which of their 100 subcontractors gets randomly assigned to your project. But the truth is, when it comes to painting, there's only one logical great choice: Color Wheel Painting. Color Wheel has a small team, despite the fact that, yes, we're on the radio. We have geek-level industry knowledge, specific processes, and outstanding products. Color Wheel has a system that from start to finish is personalized and guaranteed to make you proud of every dollar you invest in your home. We are the ones you need. Trust Color Wheel for interior painting, trim painting, wallpaper hanging, cabinet painting and refinishing, and even more. That's Color Wheel Painting. RemodelandPaint.com.
For more information about contests on News Talk 1130 WISN, go to newstalk1130.com/rules.
This is Michael Lynch from the Lynch Truck Center. We've been working hard sourcing work trucks from all over the country. We currently have over 300 commercial work trucks in stock and ready for your choice of upfit. Our sales team is 100% dedicated to commercial trucks, which means our truck professionals can get you the right truck right now. Our new inventory of Chevrolet, GMC, Isuzu, Hino, not to mention our used inventory, combined with nearly 30 commercial financial lenders, ensures the lowest rates possible for you and the fastest buying experience. Our service center has over 20 dedicated truck bays running 2 shifts, a contact-free sales process, and delivery drivers ready to deliver your truck right to your door. We know your time is important, so we make sure our process is quick and hassle-free. Find your new truck today at lynchtruckcenter.com or stop into the Lynch Truck Center at Highway 36 in Waterford. We won't disappoint you.
Dan O'Donnell here for This Week with Annex Wealth Management. Dave Spano, the president and CEO of Annex, also with me. And this week, it feels especially bullish in the markets, Dave.
Yeah, it really does. There's a bullish sentiment that is certainly sweeping. And it really is something that we've seen throughout the beginning of this year as well, partly because it's a presidential election year. And this is normal. If you go back for the last 12 or 13 elections, you see that we generally have a positive year in a presidential election year. And so that's what we're seeing here, number one. And number two, of course, that the Federal Reserve is hinting that sometime this year they're going to turn around and start cutting rates. You know, we all know that for 18 months they were raising rates, they then paused, and they're going to turn around and start cutting rates. So a combination of those two things are really playing into this sentiment, Dan. The other thing that you're going to see, of course, is that it begins to build on itself. So you get the old FOMO, the fear of missing out, starting to come into play, and that's what we're starting to have happen. But folks, you got to be careful and know what you own. And the reason why is because you can't blindly just put money to work. You have to make sure it fits into your risk profile, it fits into your asset allocation, and most importantly, it helps you get to the goals that you're trying to establish, and we can help with those ideas.
Yeah, and that website is annexwealth.com, because in times of uncertainty, and we think that election years are going to be a good year, we think that the bullish sentiment is going to continue, we think there's going to be some FOMO, no one ever really knows. So you need to be positioned for any and every possible outcome. And one thing that we do know about this market and about every market is that any outcome is possible. Get your free wealth metric at annexwealth.com. For Dave Spano, president and CEO of Annex, I'm Dan O'Donnell. This has been This Week with Annex Wealth Management.
I'm Brett Ochtenhagen, owner of Brett Ochtenhagen Seasonal Services. Most people know us as a trusted landscape contractor, but did you know that we've been crafting decorative concrete and masonry features for almost 30 years? All concrete is not the same. Do you know what to ask for when planning a landscape project that includes concrete? For example, there are many types of concrete mixes available, and if you don't request a premium mix, you'll likely get a bargain mix, and a driveway or patio made with a bargain mix is not a bargain at all. We use only premium concrete mixes from trusted producers, and our decorative concrete and masonry features are crafted by our own artisans, not subcontractors. There's so much to consider when preparing for your landscaping project. Brett Ochtenhagen Seasonal Services has been serving southeastern Wisconsin since 1994. We are an established, trusted landscape contractor. Please call 262-392-3444 or look for us online at seasonalservices.com.
Need to sell your home fast? Metro Milwaukee Homebuyer can help you with that. Get cash for your home quick, no matter the reason you're selling it or the condition it's currently in. Visit MetroMilwaukeeHomebuyer.com and find out about how you can sell your home fast for cash.
iHeart Podcast Update. This week on your free iHeartRadio app. Math and Magic. Stories from the frontiers of marketing with Bob Pittman, Season 6. Join iHeartMedia Chairman and CEO as he analyzes the math and magic of marketing, sitting down with today's most gifted disruptors. Marketing School, digital marketing and online marketing tips. Actionable digital marketing lessons learned through years of being in the trenches. Office Hours with Mike Stive. Mike sits down with the world's most important chief executives to answer your most pressing questions about leadership, career, and life. Hear these podcasts and more on your free iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Opinion, emotion, passion. This is News Talk 1130 WISN.
Ladies and gentlemen, our long national nightmare is over. Facebook is apparently back up, or so I'm told. Yep, I'm back in. So I guess if you don't have Facebook, just get back to work. Worker productivity has apparently soared in the last hour and a half while Facebook was supposedly down. Super Tuesday is today. I don't want to spoil the ending, but Trump and Biden are going to win, and they're going to win by a lot. Is Nikki Haley going to drop out after today? Of course she's not. She's weighing, I think, the opportunity to be the no labels candidate. She is all but telegraphing the fact that she is staying in this race, that she isn't going to support the eventual nominee, who is, of course, going to be Donald Trump. And as Gavin Newsom put it a couple of weeks ago, she's the best surrogate that Democrats have because she's attacking Trump ostensibly from the right. I do need to get to this because a whole lot of texts and emails and stuff were released as part of the settlement in the fake electors who were really an alternate slate of electors in Wisconsin in 2020. Democrats, I have never seen a group of people more willfully ignorant of something than Democrats with these fake electors. It is, you can explain this to people. This is, when I say I honestly am not sure if your average liberal is really this stupid, like you couldn't possibly, I could explain this 1,000 different ways and it still doesn't take. Fake electors, classic example. A couple of attorneys, one who's on the Vicki McKenna show all the time, former Judge Jim Troupis, who is representing Trump, did a fantastic job on the brief, arguing for a new election in Wisconsin following the debacle of November 2020. And also Kenneth Chesborough. Do you know yours truly features in one of those text messages? Yeah, they're saying something. I didn't really read this part, but it's been tweeted at me like 1,500 times. But Dan O'Donnell was part of the scheme to do the fake electors. Because they say, hey, we should get this out to a bunch of talk show hosts. Jim, aren't you really close to Vicki McKenna? Maybe we could also get this to like Belling, O'Donnell, Jay Weber, all of it, just listed all the time. But somehow I was part of the conspiracy. Ladies and gentlemen, I am here to report. Libs, listen up. Listen up. All of you libs, get your 5 or 6 brain cells ready to comprehend this. I was the 11th elector on the grassy knoll. An alternate slate of electors is the proper and correct action when the results of an election are in doubt. An alternate slate of electors is perfectly lawful. No one was trying to hide anything, which is why this was so surprising. I got the damn press release when they were meeting. The Constitution and United States law says that you have a certain date at which the Electoral College must meet. That date, I believe, is always December 14th. And the date of the ceremonial counting and certification of the Electoral College votes is always January 6th, 2 weeks before Inauguration Day. On December 14th, the outcome of the Wisconsin election was still in doubt. And this is the part that libs simply cannot wrap their minds around. At the time, the quote-unquote fake electors met. The Wisconsin Supreme Court had not yet ruled in the case looking to invalidate Wisconsin's results. We had had a recount in Wisconsin. There was also a Wisconsin Supreme Court case. The case came back later that day before the electors met, but after the quote-unquote fake electors met. Because of the constitutional requirements for the Electoral College to meet, if there is still an election that is in doubt, and oh, by the way, the Wisconsin Supreme Court's decision was not the final say. There was technically still an open case that was appealed to the United States Supreme Court, which did not until February, I believe it was February 2nd or February 3rd, 2021, decline to take up the case. So technically there was still an ongoing active appeal for which there needed to, under the Constitution, be an alternate slate of electors who had cast electoral ballots for Donald Trump. Otherwise, Donald Trump would not actually have any sort of remedy at all in the admittedly unlikely event that the results of the election were thrown out. I'm going to take you back to 1960. Hawaii. There was an alternate slate of electors for John F. Kennedy who met, even though the state's electoral votes had actually been awarded to Richard Nixon. A recount was done. Turns out Nixon actually lost Hawaii. Kennedy won. It didn't matter. It didn't affect the outcome. But Kennedy's alternate slate of electors were actually counted during the certification of the votes, so the Electoral College total was accurate. I have never, in all of my years of covering elections, covering politics, following constitutional law, I have never seen more willful ignorance from a group of people than liberals about the fake electors. Truly, never. And I have never seen a more shameful display, especially from the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel and the Wisconsin State Journal, which could clear this up. It's like, look, it was an alternate slate of electors. This was, you talk about willful misinformation or disinformation, that's it. I mean, this is your media literally lying to you, pretending there was some sort of criminal conspiracy afoot. And I saw they have Andy Hitt on 60 Minutes. And of course, Hitt is trying to rehab his image. Oh, yes, here's what we were doing. It's what you do. This was absolutely constitutionally proper and constitutionally required to seat an alternate slate of electors. I welcome any and all debate. I want the finest legal scholars from the Wisconsin left. I will have you on the show, and I guarantee you cannot possibly explain how this was illegal. Seriously, try. You know what's going to be interesting? If and when Trump wins in 2024, can you imagine all of the stuff that we will have been told for 4 years about how Republicans are insurrectionists and they're trying to steal an election? You've already had Democrat members of the Congress openly suggesting, we're not going to certify a Trump win. I mean, it doesn't matter. The Electoral College already met. What do you think they're going to do? They tried to, when Trump won the first time in 2016, they tried to get electors to say, hey, you don't have to vote for Donald Trump. Yep, the celebrities, we played that all the day. It was like Martin Sheen. It was, I think, Diplo. It was like some DJ was randomly in there. And they also, you can save the country. You talk about election interference. You talk about open interference with the proper function of how American democracy is supposed to work. That's it, folks. That's it. You're going to see bribes of electors. You're going to see physical threats of electors. You are just, Personally, I can't wait because it is going to prove just what absolute hypocrisy does it. Like hypocrites doesn't even describe what's good. Just absolute amoral people with zero belief system. Honest to goodness, zero belief system. You had the same people stood up every January 6th this century that a Republican won a presidential election every single time. 2000, 2004, 2016, all three. They stood up and said, this election was stolen. We shouldn't certify the election. Donald Trump says it's criminal. Give me a break. 10:48. You're listening to the Dan O'Donnell Show. We're coming right back. Dan O'Donnell here for my friends at Built-Right Furniture. Built-Right's Customer Appreciation Mattress Sale is on now. Shop the most unique selection of mattresses with over 60 models and 500 mattresses in stock. Choose from the best brands made in the USA, including Heirloom, Restonic, Therapeutic, Schiffman, Comfort, Sleep, and more. Built-Right always saves you money. Don't make a mistake by ordering online or from an employee-free self-service store. Built-Right makes it easy, and with their legitimate sale prices, you'll get an exceptional value and a great night's sleep. Built-Right does the research for you, and their team will take the time to help fit you. Built-Right specializes in hard-to-find, flippable, two-sided, and heavy-duty mattresses that hold up to 600 pounds. Plus, Built-Right offers free delivery and removal on mattress-only purchases of $799 or more. Shop Monday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Sunday, closed to be with family. Tell them Dan O'Donnell sent you to Built-Right at 54th and Layton in Greenfield.
Hi, it's John Reeds from Great Midwest Bank, and as a community bank, we sincerely appreciate our customer loyalty. Over nearly 90 years, we've done all we can to return the favor. Great Midwest Bank offers flexible solutions that bigger banks and credit unions simply can't, because our entire team is right here in the community. We love helping our neighbors when we're at work and then catching up over the weekend. Visit us at greatmidwestbank.com. Great Midwest Bank, your simply local equal housing lender.
Portions of the following program were pre-recorded.
Jay Weber here. In today's fast-paced world, getting to the bottom of a problem cannot happen fast enough, especially when it involves your physical health. There's no time for pain or weakness. This is where Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin's Ortho ASAP clinics come to the rescue. If you're experiencing any sort of bone, joint, or muscle problem, walk right in and be seen by an orthopedic specialist trained specifically to treat these conditions. Their website is orthowisconsin.com. The Ortho ASAP clinics are located at both the Pewaukee and Brookfield Square locations and are a lower cost, higher quality alternative to the traditional emergency room or urgent care. You'll be sure to be seen by an experienced orthopedic specialist who's surrounded by a staff that is trained to provide you with the best possible care. Also, their Ortho ASAP clinics are housed where they have on-site x-ray, physical therapy, and MRI capabilities to help with your care, all right there. You can learn more at orthowisconsin.com. orthowisconsin.com. Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. There is a difference.
Over $6 billion in tax refunds were flagged by the IRS for possible identity theft in 2023. If you're in a bind this tax season, LifeLock can help. Their U.S.-based restoration specialists are dedicated to helping solve identity theft issues, and all plans are backed by the $1 Million Protection Package, which means if you lose money because of identity theft, LifeLock will reimburse you to the limits of your plan. Go to lifelock.com and save up to 25% your first year with promo code CLAY.
Pure Talk believes in American values and that free should mean exactly that, free. Well, switch to Pure Talk today and you'll get a free Samsung 5G smartphone. Now, qualifying plans start at just $35 a month for unlimited talk, text, 15 gigs of data, and, of course, mobile hotspot. Just dial pound 250, say the keyword Pure Talk, claim your eligibility for your free brand new Samsung 5G smartphone. Start saving on wireless today and switch to my cell phone company, Pure Talk.
Join us Monday night for our 2024 iHeart Podcast Awards, presented by The Hartford, live at South by Southwest. We'll honor the very best in podcasting from the past year and celebrate the most innovative talent and creators in the industry. Listen Monday night, starting at 11 p.m. right here.
Presented by The Hartford Small Business Insurance. Learn more or start a quote at thehartford.com/small business. With insurance designed for your small business, the Bucks got your back.
For your new roof, we'll give you the hands-down best lifetime workmanship warranty in the industry. You can count on Semper Fi to keep you safe, warm, and dry.
We keep you safe, warm, and dry. Semper Fi. Love podcasts? Pull out your phone right now. Open the free iHeartRadio app and check out these podcasts. History on Trial.
Only 30 minutes to put her body in the well.
Dateline NBC.
The first big clue in the mystery.
Mission Implausible.
It means to keep down what was then called the third world.
Listen today on the iHeartRadio app. More than just the best radio, it's your favorite podcasts too. And best of all, it's absolutely free. iHeartRadio.
Live coverage and comprehensive analysis of today's Super Tuesday primaries tonight at 9 right here on Wisconsin's most listened to radio station, News Talk 1130 WISN.
Classical conservatism, contemporary style. It is the Dan O'Donnell Show. WISN, we're really doing complete coverage of Super Tuesday. We are your election headquarters. I get that. And I mean, I'm sure I'll be listening at some point. I got to take my son to his soccer practice tonight, so I'll be out and about. Does anyone really think that the results are in doubt here, or I know. Okay, but Dave says, look, if there's a big favorite in the Super Bowl, like say the Packers against the Denver Broncos back in 1998, 97 season. Nope. Not correct at all. 97 season, 98 Super Bowl. 98 season, 99 Super Bowl was the Broncos and the Atlanta Falcons. Falcons, of course, pulled off the massive upset when Gary Anderson of the Vikings missed that field goal. That was when Randy Moss was a rookie, and he was just dominant. He had still one of the most insane stat lines I've ever seen. It was like 3 catches, 160 yards, and 3 touchdowns. It doesn't get more unstoppable than Randy Moss in one of those games. I forget which one that was, but he was just an absolute dominant force that year. No, this would be more akin to, do you still watch even though the outcome is not just, it's preordained. I mean, there's not a, well, okay. Dave says he's being contrarian. He says, well, is it like WrestleMania? You still watch even though the outcome is pretty much... All right, point well taken. The following states are holding Republican primaries today: Alabama, Arkansas, California, Colorado, Maine, Massachusetts, Minnesota, North Carolina, Oklahoma, Tennessee, Texas, Vermont, and Virginia, plus caucuses in Alaska and Utah. Is there any state that Nikki Haley has a prayer of winning? Possibly California? Still, even though there aren't a lot of them in the Inland Empire away from the coast of California, that's Trump country. A lot of rural, lot of agriculture. You've got a lot of Trump voters there. Colorado? Maybe. I just don't see her topping the high water mark of 40% in her home state. Right. If she wins one state, did you know she won the Washington, D.C. primary over the weekend? Boy, you talk about a state, or rather a district that sort of sets the narrative about Nikki Haley. Oh, yes, the swamp prefers Haley over Trump. That was just tailor-made for Trump to use that against her. Biden is going to sweep all of the Democrat states. Pretty much the same ones are holding Democrat primaries. There's some variation. Remember, Democrats blew up their entire primary schedule because they decided that the early states were just too doggone white. We can't have the white people in New Hampshire voting for our candidates. What this was the Joe Biden Protection Act. Biden himself was behind this, or at least the people behind Biden were behind this. And do you know why it was? Why they moved South Carolina? They could recognize early in Biden's term that he was susceptible to a primary challenge. Last thing they wanted was a Dean Phillips getting 40% of the vote like Nikki Haley did against Trump. Yeah, Robert F. Kennedy, who just was flatly told you're not allowed to run as a Democrat. That's why he switched over to an independent. But the last thing Democrats wanted was to have Biden badly underperform, as he did in 2020 in both Iowa and New Hampshire. What was the state that clinched it? I mean, Super Tuesday was pretty much the one that everybody had dropped out right before Super Tuesday 4 years ago, and Biden just cleaned up. I mean, I think it was just Liz Warren was still in, and Bernie was still in, and why do I keep saying de Blasio? The predecessor of de Blasio, Bloomberg. Mayor Bloomberg was still in on Super Tuesday. He was putting all his eggs in the Super Tuesday basket. What he didn't count on was Democrats rigging the primary for Joe Biden. And yes, they absolutely rigged the primary for Joe Biden after he won in South Carolina. They just sort of declared it to be over. 2024, no real difference. They're trying their best not to put Dean Phillips on any ballot, even though Phillips, I think, has not gotten more than 3%. He got 3% of the vote in Michigan, but that's because of this concerted vote uncommitted effort by the Rashida Tlaib acolytes in that state. So Super Tuesday is tonight. Coverage here on WISN. I'm sure we'll have full analysis tomorrow on the Dan O'Donnell Show. Get out, enjoy the day. It's going to be a nice one. We'll talk to you tomorrow right here